Hello. Welcome back to another tutorial in regards to the MW Futures Liquidity Scalping strategy. Last time we went over the default settings of what happens when you add the strategy to the chart and what you can expect and how orders are being placed, how you get being alerted, and how you actually have to set your take profits at break even. And I also mentioned that in the next video we will be going over two topics, which are the start period and the funded account rules. To be honest, the start period is very straightforward. Right now it's set on January 1st, 2024. If we would look at the trade example of last video, this trade was placed on Monday the 30th of December. If we put this start date, for example, to the 31st, you will see that this trade is not placed. If we would put it to the 30th, at 12 o'clock the trade is placed, but for example if we would place the time at 11, then you will see that we don't have an entry. So the start period is very straightforward. All it is actually, alright, from this date on and this time you are allowed to take trades. Easy as that. Nothing more, nothing less, very straightforward. Now, in the next section, funded account rules, we get into the first part that's very interesting for customizing this strategy according to your own liking and risk management. On default, this is set on AMP Live. But if you expand this, you will see that there are 5 different account options. And the account options are a 50k account, a 100k account, and a 150k account, a non account, and an AMP Live account. You might already guess that since this particular item is set to top step account, that these are the predetermined account sizes and rules for the 50k, the 100k, and the 150k top step accounts. For example, if you look at this trade right now, we have a long of 6 contracts. If we would switch to the 50k, you will see that we will long with 1 contract. If we switch to the 100k, you will see that we will long with 2 contracts. The 150k, we will switch to 3 contracts. I will get into none later a little bit because this needs a little bit more detailed explanation. Same for live. But those are the 3 predetermined accounts basically. And switching between them, the only thing that switches is literally the different rules that top steps give you. So you can only trade X amount of contracts, you have your daily loss limit of X amount, and you have your max drawdown limit of X amount. Meaning that if you start customizing this script, and for example you only trade 50k accounts, and you start backtesting, you will see once you blow up your account, but you will also see, okay, the risk management right now for this 50k account rules is solid. So you will know basically with testing between these accounts, will I pass my challenge? Yes or no? Like, is this strategy good enough right now to pass my challenge? And for the people that do not trade on TopStep, but for example a different firm, you want to trade according to your own risk management, you will switch to none. And if you look at the tooltip of max daily loss limit, as you can see, only applicable for account type none. Same as max drawdown loss limit, also only applicable for account type none. So once you have none selected, or you can call it custom as well if you want, you are able to set your own daily loss limit and your own max drawdown. So if you remembered the 150k account, we entered with 3 contracts. If we would enter the rules of TopStep for this, you will see that we now switch to 3 longs. So this are the max daily loss limit and the drawdown for the 150k account for TopStep accounts. But if, for example, I would place this to 5,000 and 10,000, let's say, you will see that we now enter with 5 contracts. So if you set your account type to none, you are able to customize your risk management a little bit more to your liking. For example, if you have a max drawdown loss limit of 10,000, but you only want to risk 1,000 a day, well, then you do it like that. And then you just trade with 1 contract. So it's very easy, very straightforward, very easy customizable. And you can just do it according to your own liking. Once we get to the next item is margin for 1 contract. And if you hover over the tooltip, you will see that it's only applicable for the account type AMP Live. Well, it is named AMP Live, but this is just, you can compare it to a live broker. That's it. Like I trade with AMP Global, which means AMP Live, as you can see. But if you have another broker, then that's fine as well. And with live brokers, they trade a little bit different compared to funded companies. Like how they trade is that to trade 1 contract of NQ on AMP Global, you need at least a margin of 22,200 in your account. If you want to trade the micros, you need 2,220. So this is necessary to calculate how much margin you have to not over leverage and to actually price your trades so that you do not get margin called by your broker. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have got any questions in regards to that, feel free to leave a comment or direct message me through Discord. Also, to get back for one little detail on the top step accounts, if you hover this tooltip, it will say that for a detailed overview what each account setting does, please watch the tutorial on youtube.com/mwfutures. This is that video. So just for your information, that if you ever want to go back about how these different accounts work and what the settings are, just go back to this video, rewatch it, and hopefully it becomes clear on what every account does. Alright, let's continue on the max contract size for each trade. Let's hover over the tooltip. As you can see, this is only applicable for non and AMP Live account types. Leave 0 if not applicable. As I already explained, the 50k, the 100k, and the 150k have predetermined rules for the contract sizing. So if I'm correct, the 50k you can only use 5 contracts, 100k 10 contracts, and 150k 15 contracts. But if you have a non or AMP Live account and you want to limit the amount of contracts that you trade, then you have to fill this in. For example, if I leave this 0, everything is okay, no problems at all. But if I would place the max contracts on, for example, 1, then this should change to 1, as you can see. It changed to 1. And this is a little bit of risk management for yourself as well, so you can play around with it, what works well, what doesn't work well for me, etc., etc. So that's how max contract for each trade works. And again, it's only applicable for AMP Live and the non/custom account type because the other accounts already have predetermined rules. Well, let's go to the next 2 subjects actually, and that's enable max risk a trade and then the max risk a trade. So the boolean, let's read the tooltip. It overrides the max amount of contracts for each trade based on a dollar amount. It will never exceed the max drawdown. And then for the max risk a trade, this will not override the default max daily drawdown and max daily loss. So once you enable this, for example, we know that this strategy can generate multiple trades a day. And let's say that you do not want to risk more than $500 for each trade, but you do have a daily loss limit of, let's say, let's switch to none. You have a daily loss limit of 2,000. Let's say 2,000, right? Max contracts, we can place this back for a second to 15. So right now, if I only want to risk a maximum of, let's say, 1,500, oh, all right, sorry, my headset disconnected for a minute. But let's say you only want to risk 1,500 for each trade, then it will only risk 1,500 max on that trade. Let's see once what the threshold will be. Okay, so as you can see, we entered max risk a trade on 1,000. Our daily loss limit is 2,000, but we still only traded one contract according to our max risk a trade. Hopefully that makes sense. The same is actually for minimum risk a trade. So let's say that we go to our AMP Live account. No, wait, let's go to our non-account. Our max contracts is 15. We say that we can lose 10,000 for each day. Our max daily drawdown loss limit is 20,000. We say that our max risk a trade is 10,000 due to the fact that our max daily loss limit is 10,000. If we enable this, right now the default setting is that we entered with 6 contracts due to the different liquidity levels that are over here. But if we, for example, would put this to 8,000, you should see that we increased the number of contracts and that the numbers on the take profit lines changed as well. Good to note is that the min risk amount will never exceed the max contracts or the max daily loss limit. That's also what the tooltip says. Overrides the min amount of contracts for each trade based on the dollar amount will never exceed the max drawdown. Here as well, this will not override the default max daily drawdown, the max daily drawdown, and max contracts, meaning we will never override the 15 contracts. So right now we entered with 11. If we, for example, place 8 here, it should, as you can see, go back to 8 contracts. So with this way, you can always say, all right, I minimally want to risk $500 each trade. But you can also say, okay, I want to minimally risk 1,000 and a max of, let's say, 3,000. So this way you are always able to change your strategy according to the settings that you want. Hopefully I explained the start period and the different funded account rules, or actually just your account rules, your risk management strategy basically for your account according to daily loss limits and max drawdown in a proper way. If you have got any questions, feel free to give me a message on Discord directly. In the next video, we will go over the risk management of fair value gaps, the general risk management, and yeah, I think that will be enough for the next video. So in the next video, we will go over these two topics. So thank you for watching and see you next time.